Hello EAC 580 classmates. My name is Aslan Rao, and this is a summary of my interview with instructional designer Alex Weisberg. Interestingly, when we conducted the interview, Alex was working with NC State University. Shortly after our interviews, he accepted a job at Red Hat as an instructional designer. Let's take a closer look at Alex's background. Like many instructional designers, Alex Weisberg had no idea he'd be working in instructional systems design. Alex earned his bachelor's in English from the University of Michigan. After graduation, he found an internship in technical writing at NetScout Systems, and soon after landed a full-time job as a technical editor in the training department at PTC. In this role, he was exposed to web-based and instructor-led training for a number of years. After attending one of his manager's workshops on ISD, he decided to switch directions in his career. He began with a graduate certificate in instructional systems technology, and a few years later received his master's from Indiana University. Alex began applying to ISD positions towards the end of his master's program and landed a job immediately after graduation with NC State University's Industry Expansion Solutions team as an instructional designer. Alex has worked as an ISD for 2 years, but it has a total of 8 years of experience in the field. Other than being exposed to training in ISD in his previous positions, Alex gained more experience in the field by reading instructional design articles, blogs, and watching instructional videos such as those provided on lynda.com. His work tends to focus on improving instructor-led materials such as student guides and web-based materials, but works with his team and SMEs to achieve a variety of different products. So far, Alex has contributed to the development of over 100 training courses, developed a SharePoint site to provide a central location for standards and processes for employees in his department, and designed a technical writing and reading course that he also taught for multiple groups. Alex has also received awards such as the Certificate of IES Val's Pursuit of Excellence Award and the Certificate of Excellence in Recognition of Outstanding Contributions to PTC. Initially, I reached out to one of Alex's coworkers for the interview, but because of scheduling issues, I was introduced to Alex, who was happy to speak with me. This ended up working out for the best. Alex is new to the instructional design role, so he is able to provide tips and insight for those who will also be new to the role once they graduate. I met with Alex a few times over the phone throughout the semester. The first couple of phone calls, we discussed the required core questions, and then the final call, we went over the questions I had come up with. My final questions focused on learning more about Alex's background and his journey to his current position. In gathering this information, I wanted to create a perspective on how to create an ID and discover if there's a path or set of skills that can be achieved in order to be the most effective in ISD. I also wanted to answer the question, what sets instructional designers apart from the educators and facilitators? The following slides will discuss the main takeaways from my discussions with Alex. When trying to paint a picture of the best background for an ISD, Alex stressed that it's important to have a diverse background. He believes the technical part of ISD can easily be learned, but the role is more than just creating objectives and helping clients achieve them. Sometimes you're the designer, sometimes you're the developer, or sometimes you're the instructor. As Alex explains, an instructional designer always has and likely always will have to wear multiple hats. Each project is different in scope and in terms of who will be involved. The role that the instructional designer plays will shift accordingly. There will always be a need to educate in all fields, so IDs will always be needed. At the end of the day, Alex says the most important thing is how you manage your relationships. As we've learned throughout this course, the ADDIE model is not a one-size-fits-all formula for ISD. In fact, many professionals and teams in the field use a variation of the ADDIE model, or don't use it at all. Alex suggests that no matter what model you use the frameworks as guidelines and do not rigidly follow them. He's learned that as you gain more experience in the field, you'll begin to create your own ways of doing things. Much like our readings, Alex reiterates that there is no one ideal model for all situations, and that the models are just tools to help us develop effective training solutions. From our discussions, one could easily conclude that Alex is a continuous learner, and he believes that in order to be effective in the field of ISD, one needs to constantly be aware of new technology, media, models, and research in the field. For designing instruction, Alex uses articulate storyline, PowerPoint, and Adobe Illustrator. To deliver instruction, he uses Moodle as a learning management system for online courses and also delivers instruction in PowerPoint for instructor-led courses. The biggest technology challenges Alex faces are how and where to host content, how to send content to clients, and how to instruct clients in the use of the training materials that he develops. To combat these challenges, he exposes himself to as much knowledge of emerging technologies as possible. He attends conferences and is constantly learning about what others are doing in the field. It appears that the greatest challenge instructional developers face is the necessity to stay ahead of the technology and learning curve. Alex also mentions that as more programs are being offered completely online, it is important to ensure that content is not simply copied and pasted to an LMS, but also incorporates learning and multimedia theories. One of the challenges that Alex mentioned throughout our conversations was how difficult it can be to balance multiple projects at once and coordinate with all the different members and stakeholders of each project. When asked what was lacking in his graduate program, it was no surprise that he answered with project management. Alex has learned most of what he does from experience, but believes that there needs to be more courses and opportunities that focus on project management. Alex again stressed the importance of good people skills in completing projects. He says, ultimately, you're in charge of ensuring things keep moving forward, requiring you to work with many different people and juggle priorities to meet deadlines. Knowing how to talk with people and manage relationships will come in handy. My last interview with Alex focused on the transition from master's student to real-world work as an instructional designer. For those who are hoping to land a job in ISD after graduate school, Alex provides a few words of advice. First, start creating a portfolio and personal website immediately. Especially for individuals that don't have industry experience, you want to at least show your understanding of adult theories and design models through the work you are currently submitting in school. Your portfolio can include reports, videos, and graphics. Second, become familiar with the different programs that instructional designers are using. Alex highly suggests that NC State students who are given access to lynda.com take advantage of the various tutorials, especially Articulate Storyline and Adobe Captivate. Lastly, Alex encourages students to read through the job descriptions that seem appealing to them. He says to pay special attention to the requirements and programs that are posted for the job to get an idea of what companies are looking for, and more importantly, what you need to be equipped with to be competitive. His last quote was to try to expose yourself to as much knowledge of the field as you can. Attend conferences, join professional organizations, talk to practitioners, and take advantage of informal and formal training courses, certificates, and degree programs. Any investment in yourself is great. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about Alex Weisberg. Have a good day.